Hello students, welcome to our APS classes, and as already know that this is our foundation course especially for the students from 8th 12th, and this is our super batch especially for the students of 8th class. And in our today's video we will discuss about the most expected questions that related with the class 8th, and this syllabus is common for all the boards, either state board or the CBSE board. And our today's topic regarding the science subject is materials, metals and non-metals for the session March 2022. तो आज का जो हमारा स्पेशली सुपर बैच है फॉर द क्लास 8 जिसमें कि हम डिस्कस कर रहे हैं सुपर बैच के बारे में, और दिस सुपर बैच इज स्पेशली फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ क्लास 8। और आज हम बेटे साइंस सब्जेक्ट का चैप्टर नंबर 4 दैट इज मटेरियल्स, मेटल्स एंड नॉन मेटल्स, उससे रिलेटेड हम मोस्ट एक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चंस को हम डिस्कस करेंगे। एंड दिस चैप्टर इज कैटेगराइज्ड इनटू वेरियस पार्ट्स। फर्स्ट पार्ट इज अवर related with MCQ questions or objective questions. Second part is related with our fill in the blanks. Third part is related with true and false. Fourth part is related with match the column, and the last part regarding this chapter is related with very short answer type questions. That means your answer should be within one word and within one sentence. So this is the criteria for our today's super batch related with our chapter that is materials, metals and non-metals, especially for the students of class 8. तो बेटे आज हम शुरू करने जा रहे हैं। हमारा सुपर बैच है स्पेशली फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ क्लास 8 जिसमें मोस्ट एक्सपेक्टेड क्वेश्चंस को डिस्कस करेंगे, एंड बोथ फॉर द कॉमन बोर्ड्स आइदर स्टेट बोर्ड और द CBSE बोर्ड फॉर द सेशन मार्च 2022. So let us start with our first part. It is our part 1, and your part 1 is beta related with your MCQ questions. MCQ questions. So this is our first part, and that is objective based questions. Let us start with our first question that related with the objective questions, and your first question is which of the following can be bitten into sheets. सबसे पहले हम थोड़ी सी एक ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन देखेंगे materials, metals and non-metals की. That means in the periodic table there are total 118 elements, and these elements are categorized into, in the periodic table there are total 118 elements in the periodic table, and these elements are categorized into various parts, that is metals, second one is non-metals, and third one is metalloids. So here beta elements are categorized into 3 parts: metals, non-metals and metalloids. So in these elements majority of them is of the metals. 92 are the metals in the periodic table, 22 are the non-metals, rest 5 or 6 are the semi-metals or the metalloids. Metals are the good conductor of heat and electricity, whereas non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity. Metals have shiny appearance, whereas non-metals have dull luster. They do not have any shiny appearance. Metals can be drawn into wires, and non-metals cannot be drawn into wires. Metals are malleable and ductile, whereas non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile. So this is the brief introduction regarding the chapter that is materials, metals and non-metals. Now we start with our first question: which of the following can be bitten into thin sheets? Options are zinc, second one is phosphorus, third one is sulfur, and fourth one is oxygen. आपके पास 4 ऑप्शंस दी गई हैं. आउट ऑफ दीज ऑप्शंस which of the following can be bitten into thin sheets? अभी मैंने आपको इंट्रोडक्शन दी, metals can be drawn into wires, whereas non-metals cannot be drawn into wires. They can be bitten into thin sheets. Metals जो थे, they can be bitten into thin sheets, whereas non-metals cannot be bitten into thin sheets. तो यहाँ पर जो हमारा main जो है जिसको कि हम beat कर सकते हैं into thin sheets, that is your zinc. Zinc can be bitten into thin sheets. Phosphorus, sulfur, oxygen, they cannot be bitten into thin sheets because zinc is a typical metal. That's why zinc can be bitten into thin sheets. And the symbol of zinc is Zn. So this is our first question. Now shift to the second question related to this chapter. And your second question is, on the basis of hardness, dash is a non-metal. अगर हम हार्डनेस के भी यहाँ पर देखें, मेटल्स जो है दे आर सॉफ्ट, whereas non-metals are hard. So on the basis of hardness, dash is a non-metal. हार्डनेस के भी यहाँ पर कौन है जो कि non-metal है? Options are iron, B aluminium, C copper, and D is coal. So on the basis of hardness, dash is a non-metal. Dash is a non-metal. तो अगर हम हार्डनेस के भी यहाँ पर देखें तो बेटे आयरन, एल्यूमिनियम, कॉपर, these are not a non-metal, whereas coal is a non-metal on the basis of hardness. So this is the right answer. Now shift to the question number 3, and your question number 3 is, on the basis of luster, dash is a metal. On the basis of luster, dash is a metal. अगर हम luster के भी यहाँ पर देखें, metals are luster और metals have luster or shiny appearance. So on the basis of luster, dash is a metal. Options are coal, B sulfur, C phosphorus, and D is copper. On the basis of luster, dash is a metal. So बेटा on the basis of luster के भी यहाँ पर देखें हम तो copper, sulfur, phosphorus, they're not a metal, but only copper is a metal. So on the basis of luster, copper is a metal. So here copper is the right answer, and the symbol of copper is Cu. Symbol of copper is Cu, and it is your question number 3. Next is your question number 4, and your question number 4 is beta, beating with a hammer, हथौड़े के साथ पीटने पर there is a change in the size of. कौन सा ऐसा एलिमेंट है जिसको अगर हम हैमर के साथ बीट करते हैं, आफ्टर दैट इट कैन चेंज इट्स साइज? ऑप्शंस आर वुड, बी आयरन, सी कोल, एंड डी इज सल्फर. तो बीटिंग विद अ हैमर, आउट ऑफ विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग एलिमेंट इज change the size? So beating with hammer, there is a change in the size of iron. अगर हम हैमर के साथ बीट करें तो ऑटोमेटिकली there is a change in the size of the iron. But wood, coal, and sulfur, there is no change in the size of these elements. But only beating with the hammer, there is a change in the size of the iron. And the symbol of iron is beta Fe. This is the symbol. Now shift to the next question, and the next question is question number 5. The property of malleability is in. The property of malleability in. It is the question number 5. The property of malleability is in. Metals are malleable and ductile, whereas non-metals are non-malleable and non-ductile. So the property of malleability is in either metals, non-metals, wood and plastic. तो जो प्रॉपर्टी है बेटे malleability and ductility की, that is only in case of metals, not in non-metals, not in the wood, and not in the plastic. But that property, it is only found in the metals. So this is the property that is related with the metals, and the property is malleability and ductility. Now shift to the question number 6. And your question number 6 is, which of the following is conductor of heat and electricity? Out of these, you will choose which is the good conductor of heat and electricity. Options are copper wire, second one is piece of sulfur, third one is coal, and the fourth one is rubber. So out of these, you will choose which is the good conductor of heat and electricity. So here beta only copper wire. Copper wire. Copper wire. Copper wire is a conductor of heat and electricity, whereas piece of sulfur, coal, rubber, all these are not the conductor of heat and electricity. So here this is the right answer. Now shift to the question number 7, and your question number 7 is when a strip of iron is kept for a long time in moist air, a layer of which color is deposited? अगर हम आयरन के पीस को काफी लंबे समय तक हम एयर के कांटेक्ट में या मॉइस्चर के कांटेक्ट में रखते हैं, तो एट दैट टाइम अ लेयर ऑफ व्हिच कलर इज डिपॉजिटेड? उस टाइम जो आपका आयरन होगा उसके ऊपर जो लेयर बनेगी, वो लेयर जो होगी दैट लेयर इज ऑफ व्हिच कलर? वो लेयर किस कलर की होगी? ऑप्शंस है ग्रीन कलर, बी रेड कलर, सी एश लाइक कलर, एंड डी नन ऑफ दीज. तो बेटे आपने भी ज्यादातर देखा होगा कि जो आयरन से रिलेटेड आपके मटेरियल्स हैं या जो लोहे की जो भी चीजें होती हैं, अगर वो ज्यादा समय तक वाटर या एयर के कांटेक्ट में रहें तो ऑटोमेटिकली उनमें क्या होता है, एक लेयर बन जाती है, एंड दैट लेयर इज ऑफ सम कलर. वो किसी कलर की लेयर होती है, एंड दैट लेयर ऑफ व्हिच कलर? कौन से लेयर की वो कलर होगी बेटे? या तो वो ग्रीन कलर की लेयर बनेगी, या फिर रेड कलर की लेयर है, या फिर ऐश लाइक कलर की, या फिर इनमें से कोई भी ऑप्शन जो है वो सही नहीं है. सो बेटे हियर द लेयर इज फॉर्म्ड दैट इज ऑफ रेड कलर. रेड कलर की लेयर बनेगी अगर हम आयरन स्ट्रिप को काफी समय तक अगर एयर के कांटेक्ट में या मॉइस्चर के कांटेक्ट में रखते हैं, एट दैट टाइम अ लेयर इज फॉर्म्ड ऑफ रेड कलर. सो रेड कलर. Red color is the right answer. Now shift to the question number 8, and your question number 8 is beta the nature of metallic oxide is dash. The nature of metallic oxide is dash. Options are acidic, B basic, C neutral, and D sometimes acidic or sometimes basic. So here it is the question, that is the nature of the metallic oxide is either acidic in nature, बेसिक इन नेचर, या फिर न्यूट्रल है, ना तो एसिडिक नेचर है ना बेसिक नेचर है, दैट मींस दैट नेचर इज न्यूट्रल नेचर, या फिर समटाइम्स इट इज एसिडिक इन नेचर एंड समटाइम्स इट इज बेसिक इन नेचर. सो व्हिच इज द राइट आंसर दैट द नेचर ऑफ द मेटालिक ऑक्साइड इज? तो बेटे जो नेचर है मेटालिक ऑक्साइड की, इट इज नॉट एसिडिक इन नेचर, इट इज नॉट न्यूट्रल इन नेचर, एंड इवन sometimes acidic, sometimes basic. It is not the nature of the metallic oxide. But the nature of the metallic oxide is basic in nature. Basic in nature. So here this is the right answer. The layer of the metallic oxide is basic in nature. So it is your question number 8. Now shift to the question number 9, and your question number 9 is dash changes blue litmus solution into red. कौन है जो ब्लू लिटमस को रेड लिटमस में कन्वर्ट करता है? ऑप्शंस है बेटे एसिडिक ऑक्साइड, बी बेसिक ऑक्साइड, सी न्यूट्रल ऑक्साइड, एंड डी इज नन ऑफ दीज. डैश changes the blue litmus into red litmus. Options either acidic oxides, basic oxides, neutral oxides, or none of these. So here beta acidic oxides. Acidic oxides. Acidic oxides. They changes the blue litmus solution into red. Neither basic oxide, neither neutral oxide, they do not change the blue litmus into red. But only the acidic oxides changes the blue litmus into red. Now beta shift to the question number 10, and your question number 10 that is related with the reaction of sodium with water. The reaction with sodium with water. So this is sodium and the symbol of sodium is Na. the reaction of sodium with water, and here it is water. अगर हम सोडियम को रिएक्ट करते हैं, जो रिएक्शन होगी सोडियम विद वाटर, दैट रिएक्शन इज आइदर स्लो रिएक्शन, फास्ट रिएक्शन, स्लो रिएक्शन, फास्ट रिएक्शन, इनएक्टिव रिएक्शन, और समटाइम्स स्लो समटाइम्स फास्ट. तो यहां पर जस्टिफाई करना है बेटे कि जो रिएक्शन हमारी सोडियम के साथ हो रही है, द रिएक्शन ऑफ सोडियम विद वाटर, एट दैट टाइम दैट रिएक्शन इज स्लो रिएक्शन, फास्ट रिएक्शन, या फिर इनएक्टिव रिएक्शन है, एंड समटाइम्स फास्ट रिएक्शन और समटाइम्स स्लो रिएक्शन. तो जैसे ही रिएक्शन हमारी सोडियम की वाटर के साथ होगी, एट दैट टाइम इट इज अ फास्ट रिएक्शन. दैट रिएक्शन इज नोन एज फास्ट रिएक्शन. Not slow reaction, not inactive reactions, and even not sometimes slow reaction and sometimes fast reaction. Next is your question number 11, and your question number 11 is which of the following statement is correct. आपके पास statements दी गई हैं, उनमें से आपको justify करना है कि इनमें से कौन सी statement जो है वो correct है. First is all metals are ductile. Second one is all non-metals are ductile. Third one is generally metals are ductile, and the fourth one is some non-metals are ductile. तो इनमें से कौन सी स्टेटमेंट है जो बेटे करेक्ट होगी? You have to choose the correct option. All metals ductile है, all the non-metals are ductile, generally metals are ductile, and the last one is sometimes non-metals are ductile. तो यहाँ पर जो correct statement है बेटे, that is all metals are ductile. All metals are ductile. जितने भी metals होते हैं, all they are ductile in nature. That means metals have the capability of ductility and malleability. So here all metals are ductile. This statement is correct out of the following statements. So here beta we complete important 11 questions related with your science subject, and the name of the chapter is metals and non-metals, and this first part is related with your MCQ questions or objective based questions. Now we shift to the second part, and your second part is related with your fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. First fill in the blanks is phosphorus is very dash non-metal. Phosphorus is very dash non-metal, and the symbol of phosphorus is beta, phosphorus. Phosphorus, symbol of phosphorus is P. This is the symbol. So phosphorus is very reactive non-metal. It is very reactive non-metal. So it is very reactive non-metal. Next question is beta, metals are dash conductors of heat and dash. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. So this is the second fill in the blanks, that is metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Now next is our third fill in the blanks, and your third fill in the blanks is iron is dash reactive than copper. Iron is dash reactive than copper. So the symbol of iron is beta, symbol of iron is Fe, and the symbol of copper is Cu. Symbol of iron is Fe and the symbol of copper is Cu. So iron is more reactive than copper. More reactive than copper. More reactive than copper. Now our last fill in the blanks is metals react with acids to produce. जैसे ही हम metals को acids के साथ react करेंगे, at that time they produces which type of gas? So here beta, when the metals react with acids, at that time they produce the hydrogen gas. hydrogen gas, and the symbol of hydrogen is H. So at that time it produces hydrogen gas. So here beta, it is our part B, and your part B is related with your fill in the blanks, and part 1 is related with MCQ questions or objective based questions, and here we complete part B, and there are total 4 fill in the blanks that are related with your part B. Now shift to the next part, and the next part is, that is your part C. Part C. It is your part C related with true or false. अब ये जो part है आपका बेटा, it is directly related with the true or false. Generally non-metals react with acids. ज्यादातर metals जो होते हैं they react with acids. तो बेटे आपको justify करना है कि जो metals हैं they always react with acids. बिल्कुल सही है, because metals always react with acids. So this is true. Because metals always react with acids. Second, sodium is very reactive metal. It is again true, because sodium is very reactive metal. So it is again true, because sodium is a very reactive metal. Now third part, copper displaces zinc. The symbol of copper is Cu, and the symbol of zinc is Zn. This is the symbol of zinc. So copper displaces zinc from zinc sulfate, and the formula of zinc sulfate is ZnSO4. This is the symbol of zinc sulfate. तो यहाँ पे ये कह रहा है कि copper displaces zinc from the zinc sulfate solution, क्योंकि copper जो होता है वो displace नहीं करता है zinc को from the zinc sulfate solution. So this is false. ये false statement है बेटा, because copper does not displaces zinc from the zinc sulfate solution. Now our last true or false is coal can be drawn into wires. It is the wrong statement, क्योंकि हम coal से wires को नहीं बना सकते हैं. So it is the false statement, because wires can be drawn from the copper. Copper can be drawn into wires. So here coal can be drawn into wires. It is the false statement. This is the false statement. So here beta we complete our part C. Part A, part B. Part A is related with your MCQ questions or objective questions. Part B is related with your fill in the blanks, whereas part C is related with your true or false. Now we shift to the next part, and your next part is match the column with column B, column A with column part D. It is your part D. And beta, in this part D, there are two columns, column 1 and column 2, and you will match the column 1 with column 2 with appropriate or right options के साथ. In column 1, the options are gold, second one is iron, third aluminium, fourth carbon, fifth copper, sixth mercury. In column B, thermometers, electric wires, wrapping food, jewelry, machinery and fuel. Now here the question is that there is matching of column 1 with column 2. Gold, gold किसके काम आता है बेटे? हमेशा gold से क्या बनाया जाता है बेटे? Jewelry. Gold is always used to making the ornaments. Ornaments बनाए जाते हैं, jewelry के काम use होता है. Iron, iron को हमेशा हम किस तौर पर use करते हैं बेटे? Machinery के तौर पर. Iron is always used in the machinery. Aluminium, wrapping food items. Food items को wrap करने के लिए किसका यूज किया जाता है? एल्यूमिनियम का यूज किया जाता है. कार्बन, कार्बन इज ए फ्यूल. कॉपर, इलेक्ट्रिक वायर्स. मर्करी, थर्मामीटर्स. सो दिस इज द सही तरीका है बेटे ये कॉलम 1 को कॉलम 2 के साथ मैच करने का. गोल्ड इट इज ऑलवेज यूज्ड इन द ज्वेलरी, ऑर्नामेंट्स को बनाने के लिए यूज किया जाता है. आयरन इट इज ऑलवेज यूज्ड इन द मशीनरी. Aluminium, it is always used for wrapping the food items. Carbon, it is used as a fuel. Copper, it is used for the electric wires. And mercury, it is used in the thermometers. So here beta, this is our part D. Now we shift to the part E. Part E. And your part E is related with your very short answer type questions, and your answer should be within one word or in a one sentence. So this is the abbreviation of the very short answer type questions. So here beta, your first question is name the property because of which metals can be bitten into thin sheets or thin layers. आपको उस प्रॉपर्टी का नाम बताना है on the behalf of which the metals can be drawn into thin layers or sheets. इससे पहले भी मैंने जब इंट्रोडक्शन दी बेटे आपको चैप्टर की, जिसमें मैंने बताया था कि metals are malleable and ductile. They can be drawn into wires. They can be drawn into the thin layers or the thin sheets. That means there is some special property that behind the metals or the non-metal, जिसके बिहार पर हम क्या कह सकते हैं कि उनको हम ड्रॉन कर सकते हैं वायर्स में या थिन लेयर्स में. So beta, that property because of which metals can be drawn into the thin sheets or the thin wires, that property is known as malleability. Malleability, it is the property, malleability. Second is what is ductility. आप नोट कर सकते हैं बेटे. The malleability is the property. Malleability is the property by which metals can be bitten into thin sheets or into thin layers. So this is the right answer. Next is your ductility. And what do you mean by the term ductility? The property by which metals can be drawn into wires is called ductility. तो नोट कर सकते हैं बेटा, the property by which metals can be drawn into wires is called ductility. Next is name the most ductile metal. तो ductility क्या है बेटे? The property by which metals can be drawn into wires. That property is known as ductility. तो अब यहाँ पर आपको most ductile metal का नाम बताना है. It is your question number 3. So silver is the most ductile metal. Silver is the most ductile metal. Next is your question number 4, and your question number 4 is name the metal which exists in the liquid state. आपको उस metal का नाम बताना है जो कि liquid state में exist करता है. So वो कौन सा ऐसा metal है that exists in the liquid state? So बेटा mercury is the metal which exists in the liquid state. So बेटा here metal, जो metal आपका exist करता है liquid state में, that metal is mercury. So mercury is the metal which exists in the liquid state. Now shift to the question number 5, and your question number 5 is which metal is used in thermometers? कौन सा metal है जो कि thermometers में use किया जाता है? इससे पहले हमने कहा कि कौन सा metal है जो कि liquid state में exist करता है. So mercury is the metal that exists in the liquid state. और अब next question जो हमारा कि कौन सा metal है जिसको कि हम use करते हैं thermometers के लिए. So here बेटा mercury mercury is the metal that is used in thermometers. Thermometer. Now shift to the question number 6, and your question number 6 is write two properties of the metals. दो properties बतानी है आपको metals की. तो एक property तो आपकी ये होगी बेटे ductility. Second property is malleability. So these are the two properties of the metals, malleability and ductility. और भी properties हो सकती हैं. Metals are soft, they can be drawn into wires, they have shiny appearance, but rest of them, इनको छोड़कर malleability and ductility are the important properties of the metals and the non-metals. Now shift to the question number 7, and your question number 7 is name two metals which are good conductor of heat and electricity. दो ऐसे metals के नाम बताओ that are good conductor of heat and electricity. So बेटा copper, symbol of copper is Cu, and aluminium, symbol is Al. Copper and aluminium are the two metals which are good conductor of heat and electricity. ये दो आपके ऐसे metals हैं that are good conductor of heat and electricity, and the two metals are copper, and the symbol of copper is Cu, and the second metal that is good conductor of heat and electricity is aluminium, and the symbol of aluminium is Al. Now shift to the question number 8, and your question number 8 is what is the property which allows metal to drawn into wires? That is called, what is that property which allows metals to be drawn into wires is called. आपको उस प्रॉपर्टी का नाम बताना है जो कि अलाउ करती है metals को that can be drawn into wires. That property is called as ductility. So beta, ductility is the property by which metals allows that can be drawn into wires or into thin sheets. So by the property of the ductility, metals can be drawn into wires. That property is known as ductility. Now shift to the question number 9, and your question number 9 is beta, which metals are used to make electric wires? कौन सी metals हैं जो कि स्पेशली इलेक्ट्रिक वायर्स को बनाने के लिए यूज किए जाते हैं? सो नेम द मेटल्स विच आर यूज्ड टू मेक द इलेक्ट्रिक वायर्स. इससे पहले भी हमने कहा कि कौन से दो मेटल्स ऐसे हैं दैट आर गुड कंडक्टर ऑफ हीट एंड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. तो हमने बताया कॉपर एंड एल्यूमिनियम आर द टू मेटल्स दैट आर गुड कंडक्टर ऑफ हीट एंड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. अब जो बेटे यहाँ पर हमारा क्वेश्चन है कि कौन से मेटल्स हैं दैट आर यूज्ड टू मेक, जिनको हम यूज करते हैं इलेक्ट्रिक वायर्स के लिए. सो बेटा copper, symbol of copper is Cu, and aluminium are the two metals that are used to make the electric wires. Now shift to the question number 10, and your question number 10 is of what property are metals used in jewelry? कौन सी प्रॉपर्टी है हमारी ऐसी जिसके बिहाफ पर मेटल्स को हम यूज करते हैं ज्वेलरी के लिए, ज्वेलरी या ऑर्नामेंट्स. अब किसी मेटल से अगर हम ज्वेलरी बना रहे हैं या ऑर्नामेंट्स बना रहे हैं तो आपने देखा होगा बेटे कि जो ऑर्नामेंट्स होते हैं वो हमेशा चमकते हैं. दे हैव शाइनी अपीयरेंस, देयर नेचर इज लस्टर इन नेचर. तो मेटल्स होते हैं इनका नेचर लस्ट्रस होता है, शाइनी अपीयरेंस होती है. और अब हमें क्वेश्चन जो पूछा गया कि ऑफ व्हाट प्रॉपर्टी और व्हाट प्रॉपर्टी आर मेटल्स यूज्ड इन ज्वेलरी. कौन सी ऐसी प्रॉपर्टी है जिस यहाँ पर हम मेटल्स का जो यूज है वो ज्वेलरी के लिए करते हैं? तो वो कौन सी ऐसी प्रॉपर्टी है बेटे जिस यहाँ पर आप ये कहेंगे कि मेटल्स आर यूज्ड इन ज्वेलरी? सो दैट प्रॉपर्टी इज नोन एज बेटा मेटेलिक लस्टर. metallic luster or shiny appearance. That is the main property by which the metals are used to make the jewelry or the ornaments. So here beta we complete important 10 very short answer type questions related with your science subject, and it is our super batch for the class 8th. And today your super batch is divided into different sections, that is part A, part B, part C, part D and part E. So there are various sections by which our super batch is divided into different types. Part A, part B, part C, part D and part E. तो बेटे जो हमने part A किया था, that part A is related with your MCQ questions or objective questions. Part B is related with your fill in the blanks. Part C is related with your true or false. Part D is related with match the column. That means match the column 1 with column 2. And the last one is part E. And that part is related, part E is related with very short answer type questions. So this is very important questions or most expected questions related to the class 8. And this syllabus is common for all the boards, either the state board or the CBSE board for the session March 2022. And our today's chapter or today's topic, that is materials, metals and non-metals. And this is our super batch for the class 8. So once again, good night to all the students who, और बेटे कल आप दोबारा हमारे साथ इसी टाइम पर जो है हम आपको एक और नया लेक्चर जो है वो डिलीवर करेंगे, that is related with your science subject in your super batch. So once again good night to all the students.